the whole pipe system we have, because we can determine any kind of resource and have it go between any kind of pipe and have tanks to hold it.
So how robust is the plug-and-play system for ship pipes? That's a great question because I love answering. It's very robust. You can, if what you're asking is attach a soda can to your Class 1 hardpoint, and maybe it's aluminum so it vents heat, versus putting a weapon on there. As long as they can accommodate the size of the can, the size of the weapon, anything can be attached anywhere, and it can work in that slot, and it will update the pipes dynamically because it's all a data-driven system. That's something that was super important to Chris, is making sure it was a data-driven system so we could do just that.
Okay. Turn the panel on. This is going to enable the gravity and the retaliator. Go back to the, well, okay, it's going to be easy. The gravity's going to come on in a second. We cut too soon. Now we got gravity on. All right, let's man up the ship. We got the power back on. We need to turn the engineering station on. Who's on the engineering station? So red 3, okay. So we can, so this is an example of one of the multi-cruise stations where we can change the various powers and radar stuff. If we have the weapons online, we can. We'll cut back to this when we get in the sheet. There we go, the weapons are online now.
We haven't implemented sort of life support and oxygen issues yet, but the system that we have in terms of the pipe system and our item system, that's actually something that would be fairly easy for us to do. So,
level design, pushing on piping prototype. That's coming along pretty well. Still working on that, but it's getting down to some of those final stages.
Item 2.0 is going to allow us to do the radial damage with effects on nearby components, and then through power pipes and overheating, and then kind of a buildup. And that initial that cool video we showed a while back with the explosion, we're still working on. So one thing we're introducing very soon after CitizenCon is pierceability. So that means that ammo that you shoot at the ship will go through the hull if given a certain value of your shields and all that. It will strike a component inside and damage it. That component takes enough damage, it may explode. Or it may just give electrical feedback, which can then cause damage elsewhere in the ship. So you'll see arcing lightning going from component to component over the hull of the ship, and then you'll see explosions happening, and then finally we'll get the, if enough components have died, we'll have the ultimate explosion. So that's kind of where we're headed with that.
That's very cool.
I talked to so many different fields just to get this to happen. So I talked to design and to engineering and to art all the time to make sure that what I'm implementing is going to work for the future, not just what we're releasing in the next few weeks.
Awesome update. With item 2.0 being fleshed out with the room system and interaction linking, it really gives us a sense of how the designers will be able to create interesting gameplay and missions.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's opening up a ton of new possibilities. Players will be able to approach the scenario multiple ways. They could charge in guns blazing, turn off the power to bypass security. Maybe they want to forget all that and just force open the airlock and vent everyone inside. So I really think the emergent gameplay that we're sort of working on will be a hallmark of Star Citizen, and it's exciting to see it all sort of come together to create such a complex system.
This does involve that we do convert all of our existing items and systems to this 2.0 infrastructure.
But one of the most common questions that we get with all this talk about System 2.0 is, why didn't we just make Item System 2.0 the first time? Well, why wasn't
It's a great idea.
Why wasn't this where we started?
I wasn't here yet. So.
Yeah, well, we weren't here.
Exactly.
I wasn't either.
Yeah.
As we make this game, we push out releases, the team looks and says, this doesn't scale, right? We need to get much bigger, so how do we scale?
Now we need to get the actual finalized design and spec and engine and everything that will allow us to take this beyond and actually iterate upon.
One of the features we had to do was make sure that it hooked up to our new pipe system properly, so it would be powered, it would generate heat, and it would overheat and have all that kind of gameplay.
It was really more getting it hooked where we could attach it to a 2.0 ship, but also getting it connecting to the pipe system for power, for heat, for things of that nature, for the fuel system. The old drive didn't use any of that mechanics because it wasn't compatible.
I think there was a question about decompression somewhere. Where are the decompression mechanics we first saw at Gamescom 2015?
Yes, red one. Where are the decompression mechanics?
We have the room system, and so we know what the air and oxygen is, and the room system bleeds out, so we know the amount of bleed out. And here we go, this is a test, and when the doors open, there you are, there's the vacuum out there, and then there was oxygen, and the room system bled out to there.
When we started building our ships and building our environments, we started building with what we call the pipe system. And this system, while it did its job pretty well, it's already a bit old, and we're only using it right now for limited things. So we're trying to build stuff in one component that rules them all. Since this is a system that's going to affect so many things in the game, this needs to be done properly and done properly from the beginning.
This needs to be done properly and done properly from the beginning.
We have the initial implementation of life support components and their connected vents working internally, but rolling it out for the ships will take a while as we need to literally plumb the ships with a set of extra components. Not just the life support component, but all its vents. We have a few other systemic ship features like an update to the pipe system that shares resources like power, heat, fuel, atmosphere between components that will be more flexible and scalable. A ballistic round passes through the ship's shield, which scrubs off some of its kinetic energy, but not enough as the round's velocity was high as was its mass, as it was an armor-piercing round. It manages to penetrate the armor and strikes an internal component, say a power relay node, something else we are working on as part of the pipe system refactor. I can promise you the gameplay I described is not a pipe dream, nor will it take 10 to 20 years to deliver.
And this follow-up question is probably very similar to the life support one. Regarding resource management, will content teams need to rework existing ships before this can be implemented in the PU?
Yes. Quite significantly, actually, yes. Because we have some legacy systems that work, but are not the ideal way that we intended to have it work. So there are some optimizations that we have to do so that it runs performant and that we don't put too much stress on everything, which is already quite stressed. So yeah, there's a lot to do on our side. So every ship needs to be touched, and every item that is existing also needs to be touched.
The good thing is that it's kind of going to be a bit combined, I think, with the life support. So because they both use obviously resource systems, so it's like at least it won't have to be done twice. Hopefully, maybe.
We started talking about resource management about 2 years ago. It is pretty much the evolution of what used to be the old pipe system, and this has been an interesting journey. And the last year we've made tremendous progress with the resource management system, but with a system that is this big and complex, we do not want to rush it. We want to just get it right and get it right from the beginning.